Good afternoon, everyone. We will start our webinar this afternoon. So, once again, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for the Study in Belgium webinar. My name is Genesa Lahope, and I will be your moderator for this exciting session. And this afternoon, we are thrilled to have you here as we dive into the wonderful opportunities that Belgium offers for students. We have an exciting lineup of speakers today who will share their experiences and provide valuable insights on studying in Belgium, including information on study program, scholarships, study visa, students' life in Belgium, and working opportunities after study. Before we begin, please allow me to introduce our distinguished speakers for this afternoon. First, we have His Excellency Frank Felix, the Ambassador of Belgium to Indonesia, Timor-Leste, and ASEAN. And we also have Miss Anggarani Fatmawati, board member of Alumni Belgia, and we also have Muhammad Rizki, chairman of PPI Belgia or the Indonesian Student Association in Belgium. And we have here also Miss Renilde Nevels, policy advisor for internationalization from Study in Flanders. And we have also here Mr. Olivier Duheret, project manager of Wallonie Brussels campus. And we will have also our consul from the Belgian Embassy in Jakarta, Miss Ann Kutil, who will join us later, and also the Indonesian student studying in Flanders, who will share her testimonial, Miss Vanessa Utami, who will join us also later. And everyone, without further ado, let us start with the welcome remarks from His Excellency Frank Felix. Your Excellency, the time is yours.
Well, I hope you can hear all of me. It is my pleasure to welcome all of you to this, what I think is a very interesting webinar. I would have a very special warm welcome to all the students that are participating here today, and I see that the number of participants is rising on my screen. A warm welcome also and a thank you to our speakers today because they are going to make it very interesting. This is already the third year that we organize this study in Belgium webinar. We started doing this in 22 and in 24. We are already on our third edition and with many more to come as we see the success of this webinar in the figures and in the number of Indonesian students that study in Belgium. The webinar is one of the highlights of our diplomatic diplomacy. It's really helping Indonesian students to understand the Belgium academic landscape. What's available, what can be done, what's interesting, especially for Indonesian students, what are the experiences of students that are already there, what are the difficulties also, what are the opportunities. All these things will be handled with today, which makes it extremely interesting and very practical, which is the initial idea of this webinar. We will share information on study programs, scholarships, study visas, students live in Belgium, working opportunities after study, and everything will be delivered by two educational agencies from Belgium. First one is Study in Flanders, which is the northern part of Belgium. And the second part is Wallonie Brussels International Campus, which represents the center and the south of Belgium. But we also have speakers from Alumni Belgia and from the PPI Belgia, the Indonesian Students Association in Belgium. I wish all of you a very interesting session, and I hope to see many of you in the future in Belgium studying at one of our universities and continuing your higher studies after the ones in Indonesia. Good luck to all of you, and I'm looking forward to a very interesting webinar. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your warm welcome. And so now we will have Ms. Anggrani Fatmawati from a board member of Alumni Belgia who will speak on career opportunities in Indonesia for graduates with a Belgian education background. Ms. Anggrani, over to you.
Hello, did you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you over here, Barani.
Sorry. Did you hear me now? Right? Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Um, my name is Anggarani Fatmawati. I'm one of the board member of Alumni Belgia Association, and I am graduated from Hasselt University, majoring Master of Transportation Sciences in 2019. And currently, I'm working at the Ministry of Transportation of the Republic of Indonesia. So to make it short, let me go straight to the presentation. Could Mr. Ilham help me to share? Yeah. So today I will present about the Army of Belgium. So first, go to the next slide. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the establishment of our Alumni Belgium is starting in 20 November 2020. And basically, since the 1960s, there are many Indonesians that have studied in Belgium, taking various degrees and in various universities, either in Wallonia and also Flanders. And after studying, the alumni are returning to Indonesia or even working in another countries and also in Belgium itself. And next. So our vision is as a unifying organization for Belgian alumni living in Indonesia and abroad. The association is open and it's non-profit and embracing all alumni from different backgrounds, social status, professional and academic, and from different degrees. So whether you are taking a bachelor, master, doctor, you can also join us. And our mission is are to strengthen and establish collaboration and kindship amongst Belgium alumni. Furthermore, to creating synergy in order to improve the welfare of its members. And secondly, to build and strengthen cooperative relations between Belgian alumni and their members with external parties. And last, to support the implementation of programs and functional tasks in various sectors with the Belgian government through the Belgian Embassy in Indonesia. And this event is one of the example. Next. So this is the Alumni Belgia board members. The chairman currently is Mr. Lucas, and the secretary is Nirvana Latifa, and me, I am basically as an internal or alumni coordinator. So next. So as a association, we have several events, like we have a reunion of Alumni Belgium in 2020. We also have a sharing session, different webinars in the next slide, webinars with various topics presented by our alumni. And then next slide, please. Yeah, next. And we also have a collaboration with the PPI Belgia, like the webinar or also kind of gathering and sharing session. And next, and we also have a collaboration with the Belgium Embassy in Jakarta. Like we have a meet and greet, halal bihalal after the Eid Fitr celebration, and the webinar we have today. Next, so it's yeah, it's the publication and social media. So if you would like to connect with the alumni to for example, if you have some questions about how to study in Belgium or how our experience there, how to apply, etc. Besides the PPI Belgium itself, you can also ask us. We have many alumni from different universities and also from different majors. So it's a good opportunity for you also to connect with us. You can connect with us through our Facebook at Alumni Belgia or our Instagram also at Alumni Belgia. And we also have the website alumnibelgia.org and the YouTube channel where you can find some of our late webinars. Next. So yeah, move on the benefits of having Belgium academic degree in the Indonesian job market. So basically, Belgium is a popular destination for international students. If you are studying there, you can find people from different backgrounds because it's a melting pot. You can have a global mindset with you can openness to learning, adapt to new culture, manage to different culture, be friend with organizations that are based there, where you can to have like internships for job opportunities. Uh, and then the bilateral cooperation between Belgium and Indonesia also have there are also in many sectors, different sectors like construction, infrastructure, energy, etc. And we as alumni, you can also connect with us and maybe have growing your relations, expanding your network, and maybe can have working with one of us. So next, yeah, these are some our notable alumni that you can maybe some of them are familiar for you. Like we have the current minister of uh, the Menteri Investasi saat ini, and then our one of the professor in Polytechnic of Statistics, and another we have also alumni that working in the NGO or even the ministry as well as in the universities and so on. Next, yeah. So basically, we you can connect with us to find some informations, and do not hesitate to contact us through the alumni at gmail.com and drop your questions regarding us. So maybe that's from me. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Mbak Rani, for your insightful presentation. And then up next, we have Muhammad Rizky, the chairman of PPI Belgia, or the Indonesian Students Association in Belgium, who will tell us why Belgium is such an attractive destination for students. So, Rizky, the virtual floor is yours.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, if you're in Indonesia. Can you share the presentation for us, maybe? Boleh, yeah. So yeah, again, thank you very much for the Embassy of Belgium and Indonesia for having us, for inviting us to this great event. The purpose of promoting studying in Belgium. And, there's a saying in Indonesian, tak kenal maka tak sayang, which roughly translates to not knowing means not caring. So we'll start with just a little bit about myself. I am currently studying Masters in Information Management with a specialization in data science at the University of Catholic Leuven. And before that, I also studied business administration in the same university, but in Brussels campus. So in total, I've lived in Belgium for a little bit over 3 years, and I happen to be the chairman of the Indonesian Student Association in Belgium. Next slide, please. So yeah, today we'll be talking about PPI Belgia as an organization, what it is, what we do, and what we aim to do, and then we're gonna move on to the student life. What is it like in Belgium? And we'll explore a little bit about the scholarship opportunities and in Belgium, as well as some part-time job and full-time job opportunities after studying. So yeah, next slide. So what is PPI Belgia? PPI Belgia stands for Himpunan Pelajar Indonesia di Belgia in Indonesian, or the Indonesian Overseas Student Association in Belgium. It was established in 2011, and we currently have now 6 local chapters in Belgium itself, in Hasselt, Brussels, Ghent, Liège, Leuven, and Antwerp, with a total member of roughly about 200 students. Our mission is to connect and to support Indonesian students in Belgium by means of organizing many different activities, such as welcoming day, farewell event, sightseeing, conferences, and etc. I think yeah, we started from the realization that moving to a different country might be challenging for people, different language, different environment, and so in essence, we're just here to support Indonesian students in Belgium. And a little bit about the experiences of being a student in Belgium. I would say that having lived in 4 different countries, Belgium is one of, if not the best countries to study in the world. From an academic perspective, the system is very good. It's very rigorous. It makes you challenge yourself, push the limits so that you're better. But at the same time, it's quite challenging. So usually you need to take about 30 credits per semester, which translates into 5 to 8 courses, and you can pick the courses yourself. And what's interesting about the education system is that the university doesn't really care about your presence in the class, so it doesn't really matter as long as you study well on your own and you pass the exams. And with respect to cultural diversity and adaptation, I get a lot of questions from people in Indonesia who want to study abroad, specifically in Belgium, and ask me if Belgium has big problems with Islamophobia, or if it's hard to perform prayers or anything like that. But I think it's very easy. Like Belgium is very multicultural, and people are very welcoming. And yeah, there are also a lot of Muslims in both the university and especially in Brussels, so you won't have a hard time performing your religious practices. But one tip that I have to say to sort of fit in into the society is to try to learn one of the local languages, better yet, 2 of them, because even though Belgians can speak English very well, they would appreciate you so much if you could speak either Flemish or French. And about the housing and accommodation, usually most students, at least Indonesian students, stay in a student accommodation provided by the university because it's cheaper. So that costs about 300 to 500 euro per month, depending on the city and the size of the room that you live in. And there are also some other students that prefer to stay in an apartment or other co-living arrangements, and they usually range from 500 to 800 euro per month, depending again on the city and the size of the room. And with respect to the social life, as I said, Belgium is a very multicultural country. There are a lot of like international events organized for international students. So I would say there's no reason to worry about fitting into the university. There are a lot of student associations like PPI Belgia, or like sports organizations or other faculty-based organizations that are there to support your university life. And also, drinking and partying are a big tradition in the university and in the Belgian culture also, but there's really no pressure in doing them. Belgians and the international students here are very welcoming of different cultures, and they would really understand if you don't do some of the things or some of the cultural practices that they do here. And so, next slide. So yeah, about scholarship opportunities from the Indonesian government, I would say there are in general three ways of funding provided by by our government. The first one being is LPDP, Lembaga Pengelola Dana Pendidikan, which provides scholarship for master's and doctoral students in a lot of universities in Belgium. And the second one is Beasiswa Indonesia Maju. This is a very new initiative by the Ministry of Education of Indonesia for to support Indonesians who want to study their undergraduate abroad. And in Pepe in Belgium itself, we this year have about 12 or 13 students who are funded by Beasiswa Indonesia Maju. So if you're a high school student dari SMA who are interested in pursuing your higher education in Belgium for undergrad, you can definitely check out Beasiswa Indonesia Maju. And then the third one is ISMA, Indonesian International Student Mobility Awards. This is also a very new and good initiative by the Ministry of Education of Indonesia to support student exchanges from Indonesian undergraduate students from Indonesian universities to spend like a semester or a year abroad in Belgium. And I think this initiative has been going on at least in Belgium for 3 or 4 years now. And yeah, so if you're interested to spend a semester in Belgium, definitely check out that scholarship, ISMA. Next one. So yeah, now about part-time job in Belgium. I would say that in general, it can be divided into three categories. The first one being part-time schedule, which is what you typically imagine what student job would look like. You know, it involves hard labor. You work in the restaurants and bars or in tour companies. The schedule is very much flexible, so it doesn't usually affect your university schedule, and it pays quite well, about 11 to 14 euro per hour, depending on the city that you live in and also the kind of job that you're doing. And it's also, this is something that needs to be in mind, that you need to keep in mind, is that it's the amount of hours that you can work in a week is limited to 20 hours per week. And then secondly, it's internship. Internship is generally, unfortunately, unpaid in Belgium. So you're not gonna receive like money, but you're entitled to allowance for your transportation and food for most of the time. It usually involves a lot of trainings, a lot of pelatihan on skill development that could be useful for both for your university life and also for your career in the future. And the good thing about it is that it can be integrated into your ECTS, into your semester, so that you can take less courses in that semester. And the third one is work student. This is probably the cream de la cream. It has better pay than student job, so you can be paid up to like 20 euro per hour. There is usually minimal trainings, and it focuses on repetitive tasks and mostly you work in an office, but the 20 hours per week limit is also applicable. And there in the corner, it's just a picture of me at the Coca-Cola company, which is where I'm doing my internship right now. So for Indonesian students who are interested in doing part-time while you're studying in Belgium, there's definitely a lot of opportunities, and you know, it can support your studies as well while you're here. Next slide, please. And then last but not least, it's full-time job in Belgium. I can't really say a lot about this since I am still figuring out as well on this front, but I do know that you can, if you graduated from a Belgian university, you can apply for a zoekjaar, for a job search visa, where you can have unlimited access to the labor market in that year, provide and look for a full-time job as well in the meantime. And then so one thing that you need to note about working in Belgium is that since Indonesians are not part of the European Union, of course, we need to have sponsorship from our company if we would want to work in Belgium full time, and it typically involves a lot of papers and a lot of processes, so it can be hard, but it's definitely possible. And speaking from some of our alumni, some of our friends from PPI as well, they some of them got a job sponsorship from companies in Belgium. Just to name a few, some of them got a job in the university at KU Leuven, in FMCG company and consulting company. So there are a lot of opportunities for full-time job in Belgium for Indonesian students following your graduation. And the good thing about, or one of the focus that we do at the Indonesian Student Association in Belgium, PPI België, is to sort of connect our students, our members who are currently studying with our alumni who graduated from Belgian universities and are currently working in Belgium. Because what I understand as well is that referrals can be very useful, and having this network of Indonesian professionals and Indonesian students can be very useful. So I think I have nothing left to say, but I would just say thank you very much for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach me out. I'll leave my number in the chat. So thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Risky, for sharing those inspiring reasons to consider Belgium as a study destination. And to all the participants, if some of you already have questions, please keep it for a while because we will have a Q&A session later on. And now we will dive into the main session, which is the presentation from the two educational agencies in Belgium, Study in Flanders and Wallonie Brussels International Campus. And in this session, we will hear about studying in Flanders from Ms. Renilde Nevels, and also we will hear about studying in Wallonie and Brussels from Mr. Olivier Duheret. And after that, we will also hear a testimony from Vanessa Utami, an Indonesian student studying in Flanders. So first, I will invite Ms. Renila Nevels. The time is yours.
Thank you very much, Kenisa, and thank you everybody for the interesting presentations you have given until now. It's interesting to hear you speak about our country, and I must say it's all true. You understood it very well. So I will continue with our part about the higher education system. I think we will share the slides now. Yes. So on this picture, you see the Grand Place, the square in Brussels. We're sitting 5 minutes walk from the square right now. Yes, we can go to the next slide, of course. Belgium is a very small country right in the middle of Europe. It's a kingdom, as you probably know. We only have 11.8, almost 12 million inhabitants. And we have quite some international students, all in the north and the south, altogether around 21%. Also international professors, and the biggest group of internationals can be found in at the PhD level. So if we go to the next slide, please. It's a federal state, Belgium. We have a federal government, but education follows the language. And as you see, we have 3 communities, but higher education is actually mainly to be found in the Dutch-speaking part and the French-speaking part. That's why we have 2 systems, and we have, well, we have a lot in common, but we have some slight differences in how to do admissions or what tuition fees can be. So it's good to really see where the university of your choice is to see what applies to you. I will speak only for the Flemish higher education system, which is, of course, in Flanders and Brussels. Brussels is bilingual in terms of education. So you will find Dutch-speaking higher education institutions and French-speaking both in Brussels. To the next slide. Yes, we have 3 types of higher education institutions. We have the universities, as you are used to, but we also have universities of applied sciences and arts, or sometimes we call them university colleges. And then we have schools of arts. So the big difference is that we have academic bachelor degrees, for example, and master degrees, and we have professional bachelor degrees as well. These are really targeted at preparing you for the job immediately. So most of the Belgian students, when they study at the university, they continue after the bachelor straight to the master. But if you only want to study a bachelor student and be ready for the job, you can study a professional bachelor degree, which is then 3 years and can be found at the Universities of Applied Sciences or the university colleges. If we go to the next slide, we see that we have a 3-cycle system, like I think you do have in Indonesia, so we don't have to go into detail about that. We can see on the next slide that our academic year is just starting now. Actually, the students are starting their classes this week. We had the academic openings last week, and so it's always mid-September, and then the first semester continues until the end of December. Then the students, they really need their time to study. It says break, but it's actually not a break. The break will be 2 days break, and then you go back to your desk and study because you will have exams in January. Then you have a real break, like a midterm break in February. You can travel, visit Paris, London, or have friends coming over. We are right in the middle of Europe. You can take a bus or train, and in 2 hours you can be everywhere. And then the second semester starts, and you will have class till late May, and then you will have again 2 or 3 weeks time to really study for your exams in June. If you would fail an exam, we have retake exams in summer, so from mid-August till the early September, especially the first year you come to study and you have to adapt to the system. Be prepared to be here and take the retake exam mid-August or early September. And then if you then win the credit, you can just continue to the next year. There's no harm done, nothing is lost. Okay, to the next slide. Yes, in the Flemish higher education system, as I said, we have 2 types of institutions. The universities are 5. You can find all their names here. They have in total 160,000 students. 14% of international students is the number we have overall. But in the universities, it will be a bit higher, of course, because they have those large numbers of PhDs also included. And they all are in the international rankings. And they have, some are really in the top 50, so up to a bit lower, but they are all very good. And then the next slide, you will see all the universities of applied sciences we have. In the Flemish part, we have 13 institutions, but the schools of arts are integrated into these universities of applied sciences. For example, we have a famous school for fashion designers. It's in Antwerp. It's integrated in the app, University of Applied Sciences, but they will also have their own website. If you are looking for arts, you will find them with separate websites as well. So altogether, they mainly offer bachelor degrees. Only in Arts and Maritime Academy, we have master degrees. So they have 150,000 students. They are not in the rankings. They chose not to be in the rankings because they are much smaller. Their research budget is very small. So compared to other research indicators, which are important for the rankings, they would not score very well. So they decided not to be there, but it doesn't mean they don't offer good education. They do offer very good education with international scholarships for internships, for example. So they can be a good choice if that's what you're looking for. The next slide. Yes, tuition fees can be decided by the study programs themselves. So even within one university, you can find different rates of tuition fees comparing from one program compared to the other. So it's really important to check what is the fee for this program. And it goes from 1,000 euros up to 8,000 on average. You will find maybe 1 or 2 with a higher price, but you can also find a program for 2,600 euros. It really depends. If any of you would have an EU nationality, you can apply just like the Belgians for the rate of 1,000 euros, of course. The admission criteria are very straightforward. We ask your previous degree. You need to give a proof of English proficiency with, all the existing international tests. And for some specific programs, maybe for engineering, we will maybe ask a JMAT test or SAT tests, for example. For very few programs, we have entry examinations. For fine arts and music, we will have portfolio or some kind of performance. And then for medical studies, but we only offer them in Dutch. So probably that's not what you're looking for. The admission deadlines also depend on the institution. So some are very early and they start closing the admissions at mid-February, end of February. Mostly they close in March, but some have a bit more time. It really depends. In any case, you need time to apply for your visa. So February, March is still a good time, I think, compared to some other countries in Europe. You can find all this information on our website, studyinflanders.be. But I will continue on the next slide. We have quite some English taught programs at the bachelor level. A bit less, but at the master level, you can find almost everything taught in English. Of course, beside the English, we also have all these programs in Dutch for the local students, of course. You can find the programs we have on offer in English also on our website. There's a program search tool. So if you want to study bachelor degree, you type bachelor and you find all the bachelors. If you want to study master in a specific field, you can also search there. For international students who were on our videos, you can also put the link here. And then maybe most important for you, the scholarships we have. We have, of course, Erasmus Plus Joint Masters. We have a Mastermind Scholarship Program, which is funded by the Flemish Ministry of Education. And then we also have the VLIR US Scholarship, which is very specific for very specific master programs, but also for specific countries. And the good news is that Indonesia is one of them. So that could be a very interesting opportunity for you as well. Then on the next slide, we have, of course, our social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram. On Instagram, we have student takeovers, not every week, but every now and then. So you can follow an international student who is showing their life here in Belgium, and you can see how they study and how they live. We also have videos made by alumni, and we will come to Indonesia, not myself. This time I came last year, and it was very interesting. I must say, I was really impressed with the level of Indonesian students. They were very well prepared. This year we are sending 2 colleagues. And you can register for this fair at the link here added in my presentation. I can also put it in the chat later on. Okay, and then I think we move to my colleague Olivier, who will speak for the French-speaking part of Belgium.
Thank you, Ronilde. So prior to just shifting to the next slide, we could just to mention indeed that the EHF will take place next month in Yogyakarta and in Jakarta. And I mean, Ronilde and myself went last year for the fair. I will be there this year as well, and I'm looking forward to meeting you if you have additional questions after this seminar. So you will see in this part of the presentation that there are many similarities between French-speaking Belgium and Dutch-speaking Belgium, but there are also some differences, especially regarding the scholarships. We also have in the south part of the country 5 universities. It has been mentioned before that we have universities and university colleges. Universities are comprehensive universities, which means that you can find any kind of education you wish in these universities, and any program starting from the bachelor, going to the master, and then to the doctoral degree. You can see that we have also about 120,000 students, and we have many different fields of research at 24 study and research fields, and our rate of international students is around 25%. They can go to the next one. Just want to mention that you can see that in these universities, actually, I see only 4 in this in the slide. There is one missing. It's the University of Mons, but there is one in Brussels because, as Rende mentioned, Brussels is bilingual, which means that you have 2 universities in Brussels, one which is Dutch speaking, one which is French speaking, and we also have university colleges. So these are not comprehensive educational organization, but they are specific for to train and to form the students for the working environment. Mainly, I mean, you have all types of education depending on the university colleges, and you can see that you have a lot of these schools that, for instance, have the HEH or HEC. These typically are schools for businesses, but you also have all types of education like journalism, like nurse, like I mean, computer science, and so on. And sometimes they are just gathered in one school, and they are scattered all around the region, and so which means that you can live either in Brussels, or in Liège, or even for some of them in the countryside. And you can see that there are a lot of students that are graduating from these universities, from these university colleges, proposing either bachelor degree or master degree, and you have nearly 100,000 students, and they are meant indeed to enter a company after they got their degree. Yes, can go to the next one. And contrary to Flanders, we separate our School of Arts from our university colleges, although they are also proposing same kind of degrees. That is, I mean, the same bachelor and master degree, but they are I mean, slightly different, and they are considered as different. Here, the rate of international students is very high, 45%, and what we consider as a School of Art includes not only the graphic arts. We have a lot of tradition of graphic arts in Belgium, but also music, conservatory, and again, they are also scattered all around the country or the region. Yeah, can you go to the next one? Thank you. So in French-speaking part of Belgium, the tuition fees are fixed, which means that they are for non-EU citizen around 2,500 euro per year. And that's the same whether you are in a university college, or a school of art. But I mean, if you are a Belgian citizen or EU citizen, you can get a reduction of this tuition fee to 835 euro a year. So there are conditions also, I mean, to get granted this lower tuition fee if you are not a EU citizen, but you need to mainly have graduated high school in Belgium. So it's quite unlikely that you might be concerned with this situation, but consider that this tuition fee around 2,500 euro a year is already a reduction compared to the total cost that is considered for a student. And even a non-EU citizen is benefiting from reduction from the region. And this tuition fee is also dramatically reduced if you like to make a doctoral degree. I mean, when you go into doctoral studies, the first year you pay this 835 euro a year, and then it's something like 50 euro a year. So it's very, very low. Then regarding the admission deadlines, it's the same that in Flanders, because I mean, we all have the beginning of the academic year in September. We need to get time for students to get their visa, which means that we need to select the students in the spring. So we need to open the applications during the winter, or let's say the end of the winter. And like in Flanders, I mean, the deadline depends on the universities or the university college or the School of Art you would like to go in. So and typically, I mean, the deadlines are around February and March, and there will be, I mean, a form to fill, some English test, or some additional documents to provide, so that there is an evaluation by a committee in every institutions, and then they validate your application. Yes, you can go to the next one. Yes, so contrary to Flanders, we have less programs taught in English. There is one reason behind it. It's that French-speaking Belgium is a community. Is a community of Belgium where people are speaking French, and among the skills or the requirement of this region, you have the promotion of the French language. So that's the reason why we need, or we have to propose a lot of courses in French. But so which means that if you flash the QR code that you have on the top right hand side, you will see that there is only few programs that are proposed in English for bachelor degrees, so let's say undergraduate students. Mainly, these are in the field of either engineer or business. But again, when you go to the master program, then you get much more. Because we understand that indeed, English is international language, and it's a skill that everyone needs to master to work properly afterwards. Which means that we have more program in English at the master level. We also have different types of scholarship. We have the Erasmus Plus. So just to remind you that Erasmus Plus is a program. It is a European program, which is where many higher education organizations or institutions are applying, and they get a budget from the EU. And in this budget, 20% of this budget can be allocated for mobility, not only student but also staff mobility outside the European Union. And so every institutions, and not only the universities but also university colleges, both communities of the countries are registered to this program, and you can benefit from them. But of course, you need to ask them what they you need to get in contact with universities prior to apply to this program. We also have the ARES scholarship. So ARES is the Academia for Research and Higher Education, and this agency, which is slightly different from WPI, is in charge of the cooperation for development. And in this kind of program, you have bachelor and master programs that are dedicated for students in strategic countries, among which Indonesia is part of. And we have a deadline for October 18th. So you have a call for applications every year. So the deadline is always in the middle of October. So for the students who will be meeting at the EHEF, it will be a bit too late. But if you feel like flashing before, you can already see the types of master and bachelor programs that are proposed this year. I recently heard that these programs will be continued in the coming years until 2027, and then they will be changed for other topics. So you have a kind of strategic topics that are decided, but the one that are proposed this year, if you're interested and you feel that the deadline is too short, you can consider that to apply for next year. It will still be valid. And then I think it's strange because I don't see one more scholarship. Okay, but then I will speak about it. So in Flanders, they have the Mastermind scholarship, and we decided to mimic this scholarship, and so we developed our Master in program recently. And this is again something that it is meant to for students willing to make master studies in Belgium. But this selection is so we had our first call this year, and we had a lot of applications. So to apply for this program, the best way to proceed is to ask the universities in Belgium to select their own candidates through the application they gather from all around the world. So if you are interested by this master in program, I can put you then some further information in the chat afterwards. You need to be in contact with the universities. That's why I was very happy to listen to Mr. Risky presentation, to hear that there is a BPI office or in Liège, and I think it would be good to meet with the responsible of international affairs in Wallonia to inform them so that it could be some link meant between Indonesia and these universities. So of course, if you want further information, you can flash the QR code on the right hand side. Yeah, can go to the next one. It's here that I'm speaking about the mastering. Sorry. So the mastering, as you can see, it's 10,000 euro per academic year. So and it's cover. This is an allocation for living, but also WPI is covering additional expenses like the travel expenses, the living expenses, the accommodation, and some course and materials expenses. Of course, I mean, WBI would be covering your health insurance and of course, repatriation assistance insurance in case of an emergency. Beside the mastering program, we also have the excellence grant program, which is meant for postdoctoral levels, though there are few a year, and it's a competition which is worldwide. So if you want to apply to this, you need to you'll be in competition with students all around, or postdoctoral researchers all around the world. But I mean, if you really want to work there, I guess it's worth to consider this opportunity. And and for the mastering, consider that the application is of 15th of December this year. Thank you, and go to the next one. Yes, so also, I mean, feel free to follow us on our social networks at Facebook, Instagram, and X. I mean, although Twitter is a bit old, or to contact us at wbcampus at wbe.be, and to go on our website studyinbelgium.be, and there you can find all the information I was mentioning regarding the scholarships and the different education programs. I will now let the floor to Mrs. Vanessa Utami, with an alumni in Flanders, and then I will conclude the presentation. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Vanessa Utami. I'm studying marine science in Belgium. It's like an inter-university program. So it has already explained about the detail and then the technical information about studying in Belgium. And then I would start to give my real experience and real testimonials, like how study in Belgium looks like. So, yep. And Reni request me to just like continue in bahasa. So, yep. Jadi aku bisa lanjut pakai bahasa Indonesia aja. Buat kalian yang pengen mungkin lanjut study di Belgium, mungkin alasan pertamanya itu for studying purpose, for academic purpose. And then for me, as my experience, I know that in Belgium, comparing to Indonesia, we really have different studying system. I found out that kalau di Belgium itu belajarnya lebih interaktif sama lebih banyak practical work, dan di sini itu hubungan antara dosen sama mahasiswa itu sangat dekat, dimana di situ kita bisa dapat peluang atau kita dapat kesempatan untuk join di project dosen, karena nggak cuma mahasiswa yang dapat feedback dari dosen, tapi juga dosen itu membutuhkan feedback dari mahasiswa, atau mungkin kita bisa ngasih saran, masukan, atau mungkin kalau misal ada sesuatu kita punya opini, itu sangat bebas banget kita ngomong tentang itu. Kemudian hal lain yang berbeda dari Indonesia itu dari segi exam atau ujian. Kalau di sini aku jarang banget menemukan aku harus ujian harian atau ada pretest, ada kuis. Di sini semuanya itu tergantung sama ujian akhir. Jadi kalau kita ada ujian akhir, di situ biasanya menentukan semua poin yang kita dapat untuk mata kuliah itu, di mana itu mungkin agak susah, tapi bukan berarti kita nggak bisa. Jadi mungkin buat para pelajar Indonesia di sini mungkin we just need to put more effort and we just need to put more time to study. Kalau biasanya kalian di Indo mungkin belajarnya H-1 sebelum ujian gitu. Kalau di sini biasanya pengalaman aku belajar dari 2 minggu sebelum ujian, dan kita harus siap sebelum itu. Gitu. Kemudian gimana sih dulu aku tahu tentang Belgium atau tentang studying in Brussels especially. Dulu aku tahu juga dari teman aku atau dari mahasiswa Indonesia yang udah belajar di Belgium. Kemudian aku lihat gimana mereka berproses, gimana mereka bisa dapat advanced experience di sini. Kemudian aku mulai tertarik dan aku mulai cari-cari di situ. Untuk aku sendiri, I award First scholarship. It's a scholarship from Flemish government. And then it has like a specific program. You can find it from the website, and the admission, it's actually really easy to apply. Tapi kalian ada beberapa tahap yang harus dilalui. Yang pertama, biasanya itu ada screening dokumen. Jadi kalian submit dulu dokumen, kemudian mereka screen. Kalau misalkan itu eligible, nanti bakalan lanjut ke proses selanjutnya. Kalau di tahun aku itu Fleetwood Scholarship itu nggak ada wawancara, jadi semuanya based on document sama pengalaman dari motivation letter yang kamu tulis di situ gitu. Kemudian untuk social life di sini itu cukup menarik. Kalau dari program aku sendiri, program aku itu sangat internasional. My friends coming from Asia, Europe, Africa, and US, and Canada. And then I can say that the half of the class is from Belgium. But we are all friends, and we often hang out together to get food and drinks. And yeah, you will definitely not feeling alone in Belgium. Dan spesial buat pelajar di Indonesia, di sini juga ada PPI Belgia, di mana kalian bisa kenal teman-teman pelajar yang lainnya. Kemudian kalian bisa main bareng, kita saling support juga dari sisi akademik, bisa belajar bareng. Bahkan teman-teman dari international student yang lain itu biasanya iri sama kita. Kenapa sih kalian teman-teman Indonesia itu bisa punya student association seperti itu? Jadi kalian nggak bakal ngerasa sendiri selama di sini gitu. Kemudian selain itu, aku di sini dapat pengalaman untuk internship juga. Bahkan aku internship setelah aku baru 6 bulan kuliah di sini, aku udah join internship di salah satu Royal Institution Belgium for Natural Science. Yang berarti apa? Di sini itu mereka sangat welcome untuk international student. Mereka nggak akan underestimate kita. Mereka menerima buat kita work together, and then they would be happy to teach us if we really don't understand something. Yeah, and then some of other Indonesian student also has a student job, so you can actually gain an experience to socialize with local people, to train your language. Kalau kalian bisa French or Dutch, kalian bisa latihan melalui student work. And also it's like about time management. If you have student work, it's like indeed you need to manage your time. And then I also have a friend from my dorm because I live in student housing. So kalau di Belgium, special di Brussels, itu beberapa university offering student dorm. Jadi kalian bisa apply untuk student dorm karena itu lebih mudah, lebih aman, dan di situ lebih dekat dari kampus. Tapi kalau misalkan kalian nggak mau, jangan khawatir juga. Kalau di Indo misalkan ada kayak mami kos gitu ya. Di sini ada juga seperti itu, tapi justru di sini lebih trusted and lebih termanage. Namanya ada brick, dan di situ mungkin minim untuk fraud sama penipuan gitu. Kemudian buat kalian yang memilih atau berencana untuk studi di Belgium, itu kalau kalian tahu di Brussels itu kita kenal sebagai Heart of Europe. Jadi di sini itu juga ada beberapa headquarter of office of international organization like European Union and also like NATO. So if you study international relation, you study law, business management, social science, political science, it would be like a good opportunity to have experience and to learn langsung dari orang-orang yang bekerja di situ gitu. Kemudian kalau misalkan di Indonesia itu biasanya kalian comparing antara di Indonesia itu biasanya mahasiswa sangat tertarik untuk studi di Netherlands juga, tapi jadi Netherlands sama Belgium itu beneran bersebelahan. Tapi kalau misalkan kalian tertarik studi di Belgium, itu ada plusnya juga. Jadi comparing to Netherlands, we really have a cheaper tuition fee because the Belgium government really support us, especially for, I ever talked with the Minister of Development Cooperative, Caroline Jenes, and she said that Belgium really support the student from global south. And yeah, itu dibuktikan dengan adanya beberapa scholarship, beberapa pilihan yang tadi sudah dijelaskan sebelumnya. Ada Erasmus Mundus, Fleer Was, dan kalau aku sendiri dari Fleer Was, mereka sangat mengcover semuanya. Jadi monthly allowance yang aku dapat itu bisa cover buat tuition fee, bisa buat housing, buat makan sehari-hari, dan kadang bisa buat untuk practical work juga semuanya tercover. I don't need to pay my additional cost. Yeah. And I think that's all for me. If you have any question, you can send me an email, or maybe you can also send me to the chat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ganesa, do you mind going back a few slides before, just to complete the presentation? Yeah, a bit more. Yeah, that's great. So, I mean, it has been mentioned by many people before, but I mean, there are many reasons to choose Belgium for study. You can go to the next one. Yeah, so it has been pointed out that there are many international organizations in Brussels. You have the EU, you have NATO, but you have many international companies and organizations, which means that when if you'll be working in international relation or studying in international relations, that is really the best one of the best place to study. I mean, most of the international companies have their office have an office in Brussels, so you have a huge international exposure, as Mrs. Untami mentioned. I mean, she has friends from all around the world, and even in Belgium, you have quite already a cultural diversity, which makes, I mean, your experience there very much international. I mean, Renilde mentioned that when you take a train or when you take a flight, you can be in any places in Europe. That is true, and and Brussels is in the Schengen space, which means that there is no control at the border, except if you want to go to the UK, but you can travel freely all around Europe on your free time, of course. If you can go to the next one. So yes, so this has been pointed out that we have a higher rate of international students, especially at the PhD level in our organization, and our universities are ranked among the most innovative universities in Europe or in the world, and we have, I mean, many famous scientists that can testimony about it. Can go to the next one. Thank you. Okay, so this slide is interesting because it allows you to see in Indonesian rupee what is typically the monthly cost, and the scholarships that are proposed on the Belgian side, probably also on the Indonesian side, are meant to cover this cost. Of course, I mean, if you need some extra, I mean, there is, and it has been mentioned, the possibility to work on the side, and as long as not exceeding 20 hours per week. But just keep in mind that you can work full-time during the vacation time. So you have, of course, I mean, you have the semester where you study, you have the exam, you have the moment in between when you have to prepare the exam. But as Renilde mentioned, there are also some regular break. And during this regular break, if you want to work, you can work on full-time. Yes, and the next one. Yes, so this, I mean, this has been shown before. That is actually the rate of international students and staff in our organization. So it has been shown before, and the program like Erasmus Mundus, for instance. But it has been mentioned also as well. If you can go to the next one, please. Yes. So yeah, Belgium is really a place where the way, I mean, people are meant to be happy in Belgium. It's very important for when you're a Belgian guy or a woman, that is, I mean, you need to have a good job, you need to have enough to live, but you also need to have a joyful life, a fulfilling life. But that's why, I mean, there are many events that are, and it's very easy to get friends in Belgium because it's quite a joyful people. And so aside of your study, you would have, I mean, quite quite many cultural opportunities. You have many music festivals, and Belgium is, I mean, it's institutionally speaking, it's quite a young country because it's only 100, I mean, nearly 200 years, but it's a country that has a much deeper history, and because of that, I mean, you have a lot of traditions, and so we have many festivals, but not only, we have also cultural events, and many cities, or every city in the city in the country, have its own event, which means that if you want, you could even party every weekend, because I mean it's scattered on the agenda of the year, and I mean, not to mention the gastronomy, which is also quite famous and quite enjoyable, and which is make I mean, I don't know whether it's the first, but actually one of the first country for happiest country in the European Union. Yeah, it can go to the next one, please. So this, and so now we're ready for questions, and so thank you very much for your attention, and yeah, we're open for question. Terima kasih.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much for Renilde, Olivier, and Vanessa for your comprehensive presentations and an inspiring testimonial. And before we go to the question and answer session, we will have a session for information on study visa procedures. So now I invite our consul at the Belgian Embassy in Jakarta, Miss Anne Kutil, who will walk us through the study visa procedures. Miss Anne, the time is yours.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Yeah, thank you very much. As Henissa said, there is still one last item before the Q&A session, and I think it's an important one. We have been listening to many interesting information and testimonies, but you have to get there, and so it is worthwhile to zoom in on the visa requirements and the visa process, which I will do. There is also a presentation. I think Irham may bring it up. Okay, so student visa application for Belgium. Yeah, you may go to the first slide. So it all starts with being admitted to a Belgian university, because that's one of the most basic documents you will have, you need before you can apply for the visa. We have been seeing that that the registration periods, they are February, March, so that's already that's well ahead in time. We see at our embassy that we get most of the visa applications starting May, June, July. Then the big majority of visa application is already done, and there are still a few more in August. So even if you may have to complete later on with the final degree that you're obtaining in Indonesia, you can already start once you have this admission letter. It's important that the admission letter specifies clearly what academical year you are admitted for, and what kind of study, of course, and what is the mobility status, because that's an important indicator which will depend on which type of visa you will be granted, and that's important for your registration at the commune upon your arrival. Next, please. Okay, it's evident, but I want to say 2 words on the passport. It has to be valid at least 12 months, so please check it and make a new passport if it is not valid 12 months. It should minimum still contain 2 blank pages to put the visa. Normally that goes together. If it's a new passport, you will have plenty of blank pages. Another thing still important, although the problems date from a while ago, but there were a series of passports of Indonesia that came without the signature at the signature page at the very last page of the passport. So that was a real problem, but it was solved by by adding the signature on one of the endorsement pages in the passport. So that's a procedure where you have to go to immigration office and have your signature exposed, being placed and endorsed by the authorities. So if you come to us with your passport without that signature field, we will receive your application, but we will send you back with your passport to make that okay. Next, please. Okay, sufficient financial means is very important, and you have heard, you have seen even some plannings on how much is the cost of living in Belgium, and I think if I remember the figures of Olivier were around 18 million, so that's a bit more than €1,000 a month. The minimum that we need to see on any form of financial proof for the academic year to come is 803. So it's a bit like, yeah, probably a bit not enough money, but that's the minimum for the visa application. But you better provide, taking into account the suggested amounts of that you saw in the table earlier on. Now, there are three ways of proving this financial amount for your visa application. The first is a blocked account certificate. The second is a scholarship. And the third is to have a sponsor, and then you have to present a bijlage, an Annex 32. The blocked account is actually the easiest one, and it is like nowadays, almost all educational institutes, universities, they have that system where you send the necessary amount to the university. They will open an account for you and they will give you your money back on monthly allowances. And so they give a certificate of that blocked account, which is for us sufficient proof for your visa application. The scholarship comes with a scholarship notification, and in general, it is indicating clearly what is the monthly allowance and what other costs are covered. So that's also very easy. And then the sponsor letter is a bit more difficult, and it will need some more documentation for us to validate it. We will see that on the next slide. So if you should go for the sponsor letter, there are some conditions for the sponsor. So he should be a family member of you until the third degree, or he should be a Belgian national or EU national, or a resident of the EU for unlimited periods. He must be, or she must be, minimum 18 years old, and he should, the sponsor who is the family member should prove the kinship to the student through specified the type of documents that can prove the kinship. The sponsor need then to prove its regular and sufficient revenues, so that he should gain for this academic year 2,893 months. And so I stress this, it's about regular and sufficient revenue, because we sometimes have a sponsor and he comes with his bank account, with his saving account, and he has loads of money on the saving account, but that is not what is required for the sponsor financial documentation. There we are talking revenues. So sometimes that is a problem. So I'm not going into all the detail, and you have to add the salary slips, you have to add the bank accounts, and we will do an analysis of that whole file in order to validate or not the financial Annex 32. Next, please. Okay, so proof of medical insurance. So most, we've been listening about the scholarships. Most scholarships, they provide the medical insurance, such as the CM, the Christian Mutuality, Helen, or there are several insurance policies in Belgium. Also, the Indonesian scholarships the scholarship letter that we receive, they announce a coverage with medical insurance. We always talk medical insurance and repatriation in case of problems. So that is also good. If you're studying under the mobility program, you will get the European Health Insurance Card. So, and then for the remaining students, strictly speaking, for the visa application, we are not requiring a proof of medical insurance. However, please be aware it is very important to seek such a coverage of medical insurance. And you can also subscribe online and prior to arrival to medical insurance policies. So do not forget it. It is not necessary for us to have that in your visa file, but please, it is very important for your own sake. Next, please. Well, then there are some other mandatory documents, such as the latest diplomas. And let me say, we do not require an apostille on these diplomas. So just a copy, simple copy of your latest diploma. We will need a police record, and that needs to be apostilled. Or if the student is not yet 18 years old, we will have a parental authorization that also needs to be in the specified form, notarized and apostilled. And then there is a medical certificate. And if you go to one of the doctors that is accredited by our embassy, that is a certificate that we validate without apostille. So the other documents aren't too many and aren't too difficult. Now, in terms of cost of the visa, we have to ask, well, there is firstly this contribution fee, which is called a redevance, and that is paid on to the Belgian authorities directly on their bank account, and the amount is slightly different for public institutions or private institutions. So that is done, and that is actually a proof of payment that you will include in your visa application file. And then you will pay for the handling fee at our embassy. You will pay the equivalent of 180 euros, and you have to check in our website what is the exchange rate, which is defined by our ministry. It's not exchange rate daily in the bank. It is a fixed exchange rate, and we have on our website a leaflet with the consular tariffs updated at all time. Okay, next. Yeah, then also to prepare your visa application file, we have this checklist which is on our website. So that's a very easy document. We've just we've listed everything we want to see when you come to our embassy, and in the explanatory in the description of the documents, we have some links where you find additional information on how to do the apostille, where to find the redevance information, where to find it. So that should help you through your preparation of visa application file. And we must say, since we are doing these webinars, we are really receiving very good prepared visa application files, and then the process is also very smoothly. We receive them, we treat them. Sometimes we still have to wait for an apostille on a police record or so, but in general, it is all going very, very smoothly. And that's thanks to good preparation. Next, please. Okay, maybe the last point, when to apply for the visa. And we said if you have your admission letter, you can start applying. Actually, you can apply already 6 months prior to your intended departure date. And the latest, we suggest 2 to 3 weeks before the departure date, and then you're all set to go. If you want to register, you go to our website, the Visa on Web, the diplomacy .be that you see there. That's you register your data, and in the last step of that registration process, you can schedule yourself your appointment according to your disponibility of time, and then you get a confirmation mail, and then you come to the embassy. We check your documents, we take your biometric data, you leave your passport with us, and then a little bit later, you will get your visa, hopefully. Okay, next one. I think that will be the final. Yes, Well, it's still important to say, once you're back home, join the Alumni Belgia network, because you have heard throughout this webinar, there were testimonies, there is really a group of people that is upon coming back from studies in Belgium, they say once you studied in Belgium, you're an alumni Belgia for always. So they also have T-shirts, very funny and nice T-shirts. I do recommend joining that group, and then maybe we will receive you on one of our events here in Jakarta, on the residence or on the educational fair or wherever. So good luck, everybody, and I'll stay around as well for would there be any more questions. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much, Anne, for your comprehensive guide on study visa procedure. And so now we will move to the Q&A session. So we will open the floor for questions. So if you have any questions for our speakers, please feel free to drop them in the chat box, or you can also raise your hand. We will have around 20 to 25 minutes for Q&A session. Okay, here we already have Shahrial. Would like to ask questions. You may address your questions.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Is it audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce myself first. My name is Shahrial, and I'm planning to apply to KU Leuven for the next intake next year. I have been selected as one of the worthy of LPDP, but I still managed to apply for the application in KU Leuven for the advanced master's study for 1 year program. So my first question would be, is there any agent of education that would assist me to help for the applications, and maybe it can accommodate to proceed my visa as well? And the second is that the potential, if it's impossible to have the agents of education, what is the potential difficulties to apply for a student visa? Potential difficulties that I meant that the majority of errors happen when applying visas. And the third question is that when is the best time to reserve the dorm or the student housing? Because I heard that it's pretty challenging issues regarding the housings of the student in Europe countries nowadays. And the last is that the realistic life expense monthly, particularly in Leuven, maybe Mr. Risky can answer these questions, is 1,500 euros enough? Because LPDP only provide us 1,500 euros monthly for the stipend. And the last is that important document to be prepared or translated before coming to Belgium. And because we don't want to come back to Indonesia only to prepare for the documents that might be needed during the study. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the question. So perhaps the first question will go to Olivier or Nilde, and then regarding the visa, it will go to Anne from our speakers.
I'm not sure I properly understood the question. Could you repeat it?
All right. For the first question is that, is there any agents of education that will help us to apply for specific universities in Belgium? Because for UK and Australia, there are a lot of agents of education, let's say Sun Education and other things. Yeah, please.
I think you have, the two agencies that you have in Belgium are the one from Renilde and mine. In Australia or in the UK, you might have some private organization helping you to guide yourself into finding education program. So what these are the two agencies that you have in Belgium, and what we can do to help you is you tell us what kind of education you're looking for, and then we can guide you towards the university or university colleges that is appropriate to your research. Then usually, I mean, we are the entry door for that. And then, I mean, of course, all the universities and university colleges and school of arts have international affairs. And when you contact them, they're also likely to help you, to tell you exactly what kind of program they can propose. So this is the way it is. And I mean, unless mistaken, and probably Renilde can complete, I don't think there are any private organization likely to guide you into this search. I'm not sure.
Yes. So if you are looking for agents who are based in Indonesia, there might be some, but as Olivier said, there will be a private consultants in a way. So I only know in general, we as a study destination, we don't work very much with agents, and it really depends on the institution. The reason why is that usually the agents make their money out as a percentage of the tuition fees, but our tuition fees are so low that there is no money to pay agents, and the institutions also don't need to, target big numbers of students to agents. But there might be some, but then I would say it's rather other Indonesian students who have experience with them who could answer this question instead of us.
And if I may add something, if you want to know more about like living in Leuven or studying in Belgium in general, you can always reach out to our Instagram page. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
I think one other question was about the amount of money, 1,500 euros a month.
Okay, and I think maybe it's best if I answer in Indonesian, if that's okay with everyone.
Okay, yeah.
Mungkin 1.500 lebih dari cukup sih Mas untuk biaya tinggal dan biaya hidup di Belgia. Saya contohnya bayar kos-kosan sekitar 400 euro per bulan. Terus kalau misalnya untuk living cost, masak, dan lain-lain itu sekitar habis 200 sampai 300 euro. Jadi kalau untuk cuma hidup doang sekitar 700 sebenarnya udah cukup. Tapi ya yang lain-lainnya kayak transportasi, mobile data, dan lain-lainnya disesuaikan tergantung gaya hidup aja ya. Dan kalau terkait dengan dorm memang cukup susah untuk mencari tempat tinggal di Leuven khususnya karena kota pelajar, dan saya mungkin bisa saran untuk mencari akomodasinya secepat mungkin bisa di bulan Maret atau bulan April ketika admission letter itu emang baru keluar. Tapi kalaupun misalnya admission letternya keluar telat ataupun karena satu dan lain halnya tertunda, sebenarnya di bulan Agustus bahkan September pun masih ada beberapa akomodasi yang masih tersedia. Karena dari pengalaman saya juga baru apply akomodasi bulan Agustus, September, tapi masih dapat.
Okay, thank you, Mas Rizky. Can you drop your numbers that I can contact?
Yeah, okay. And for the next question, I think regarding visa, could you please repeat the question regarding visa? Hello from Sharia. I think there is one questions regarding visa, right?
Oh yeah, sure. About the visas, this is my biggest concern about applying the visa because I live not in Jakarta, not in Java. I live in Sumatra. That it implies that I need to come to Jakarta often to apply for the visa. What is the potential difficulties that I might, face during the process of visas? Because I don't want to waste a lot of money just to get the visas. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I invite you to read carefully the checklist of documents that is on our website. You will read all the documents that we require, and you will be able to prepare everything we need, then you have to come once to Jakarta because it is mandatory that you come in person and that we can take your biometric data. If afterwards there would be still a problem with one or other document and you need to complement it, you can do that and send it to us. You don't need to come a second time. And we can also send your passport back at your responsibility and at your cost. So basically, you only have to come once to Jakarta.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay, thank you for the speakers for answering the questions. And now we have also Cynthia who would like to ask question.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you,
Evening.
Denise. And first of all, sorry for my poor English, but I hope I can explain my question clearly. Okay, I would like to ask about does the university or university college in Belgium accept the credit transfer for the BTech program from Indonesia? Thank you.
I will maybe try to answer. This is a very technical question, and it will really depend on the university and the study program. If credit transfer is accepted, it usually happens when universities have a partnership, like a bilateral partnership agreement. And this is what they would have, for example, for a study exchange, like a credit mobility for one semester. But if they don't, they might give you some credit or not, and it will have to be seen like in your case. So we don't have a standard answer to that, but you could still see with the program you're interested in.
Yeah, I think if you enter a master program, they will probably check your level depending on the education you had before to be sure that you match with the master program you are looking for instance. But the validation of the credits, I'm not sure, and but I think this might be only done when there is a kind of a co-diplomation purpose.
Yes, correct. So the BTech certification will be level 5 and it's a HND certificate.
I mean, I don't know. As a matter of fact, I don't know.
I don't know if I have like the standard answer for it, but I know of a friend who studied in Indonesia in a university for like 2 years, and then she moved here with her family, and she didn't have to restart her university from her first year. So she was able to apply for some exemptions based on the courses and the classes that she finished and took in her university in Indonesia. So I think that's possible, but again, that's something that the university itself has to confirm.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have also one question from the chat box. I will read the question. So from Tiara, technically I'm a physiotherapist in Indonesia. Have a plan to continue my study by going to postgraduate school. Some university that I know, they have a requirement that we need to have an official license as a physiotherapist from that country in order to we can work there right after we graduate. Does Belgium also have that kind of requirement or other requirements?
I would say that if you graduate as a physiotherapist in Belgium, that's fine. If you didn't graduate in Belgium, even for medical doctors and so on, there is a lot of, a lot of paperwork and some extra examinations to be done to be accredited to operate in your profession. So yes, this is to be checked, but it's the same for, let's say, Belgian doctors who move to Australia, or it's it's an international thing. So this is to be seen what could be the best procedure in your case.
Yeah, okay, and hope that it answers the question. And next, we also have questions from the chat box from Shafira. Um, she's asking, I am study social. I am studying social in high school, so can I still take accounting and informatics management at the university?
Um, I I didn't finish my high school in Indonesia, so I don't think I have like the correct answer for it. But if I may try to answer it, I think the universities in Belgium don't really care about what you study in high school. It's more to do with your SAT score and your English proficiency. So if you could provide those two documents and fulfill the minimum requirements, you will be admitted automatically to the program. So I think it's possible. Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah, I
law
agree.
says to start higher education in the Flemish part, and I think Olivier it's the same in the Francophone part, but you will complete later. That if your high school degree gives access to higher education in your country, it will also give access to higher education in Belgium. So in this case, in the Flemish part, you have to have a paper signed by your high school. So it can be a template you download from the website of the Flemish University and have it signed by your high school director to say that your degree would give access to higher education. This is to start the admission process within the Flemish institution. So imagine if in Flanders you are applying for two different universities, you have to have this document for both of them. At the Francophone part, I think, Olivier, it's a bit more centralized, correct?
To be honest, I don't know. But I guess, I mean, anyhow, I mean, if you want to apply for a university, you will need to contact the university and they will tell you exactly what kind of document they have to provide. And they will also consider the type of studies that you have been doing in high school before. And of course, if you have been somehow having a major in science during your high school and you want to study art, they might refuse. But if you are, I would say, in domains that are easily connected or can have kind of connections, I mean, there is no reason for you to be refused to enter university, provided I mean your high school degrees can allow you to enter the university in your country. So, but to be honest, I don't know exactly how it works in French-speaking Belgium, whether it is centralized or whether it is case by case by universities. I will get the information.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the answer from our speakers. And before we give again the opportunity to Shariel to ask question, I'll read one question from the chat box from Wihelmus. He's asking, as a vocational school student majoring in programming, I want to find a major related to programming. Are there any departments at universities in Belgium that are related to programming? And what could increase my chances of being accepted at a university in Belgium? And one related questions also from Nat, what are the chances to be accepted to University of Hasselt for taking master degree, especially for art design student?
I mean, I think universities are comprehensive, so I guess they all have, I mean, departments in computer science and in which you can find courses for programming. So I guess that shouldn't be very difficult to find, especially that this kind of, I mean, computer science has been is one of the strategic education program of I would say the whole Belgium. I mean, I guess the same in Flanders. So I guess it shouldn't be difficult to find. And then, I mean, again, if I mean, universities are usually meant to provide you academic knowledge. So a lot of people are doing, say, a master degree in universities because afterwards they want to go to the academic career and to make some research. If you want to make it to use your skills in programming for to enter a company afterwards, then I mean you can look for the university colleges that will provide you a more practical education. So, so I would say this is a way you would discriminate between the two, because at the end, what you're looking for is a master degree. But what was the other part of the question?
Or regarding
Uh,
The chances to be accepted to University of Hasselt for taking master degree, especially for art design.
The best way to get accepted is to get your own money. Then for the south part of the country, I mean, you will probably in the field of art, for instance, you will need to speak French. So that would be a big requirement to be accepted. Then if you match with the requirements of the universities, and again you have your own money to study in Belgium, I mean there is no reason for you to be refused.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Olivier. And we will give the opportunity to Shariel again to ask question. Please address your question.
All right, thank you. It might be a set of questions for Mr. Risky, but is your program, a master program, is 1 year program? Because mine is, and if it is, how do you depict or picturize the environment of study? Because it's quite short and, short period. Is it quite demanding? Is it
Okay.
stressful?
Yeah.
It's just for my personal insight. Thank you.
I started my master's like 3 days ago, so I don't think I can really say much about the master's program itself, but I would say that the university environment in general is very welcoming, but also challenging at the same time. So my professor would always tell me that studying in Belgium is like a full-time job. You need to spend at least 40 hours per week in order for you to be able to pass all of your courses. And yeah, there's always like a lot of interactions between professors and the students, a lot of group works. And also I think the most challenging part about doing a 1 year master's is writing the thesis, because like I started my classes a couple of days ago and now I have to think already about what I want to do for my thesis and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's all I can say.
Yeah, the demanding part of the studies in Belgium is that to pass a year, you need to succeed all your courses. So which means that, and the exams, I mean, you need to succeed all your exams, which means that the moment when you study or when you prepare your exam and if you fail your exam, then you have to do the retake at the end of the summer. That can be some stressful moment because it's a moment where we can lose 1 year, so that we can make a bit of stress. But then it will also depend on the type of studies you are doing, and I would say the second year of the master, usually you are asked to make an internship, either in a laboratory if you want to make research, or in a company if you want to enter the labor market. And there, I would say then the challenges will be different because it will be really linked with the topic of your work. And as Mr. Risky mentioned, yes, usually you have to end up with writing a diploma work or a diploma thesis. And I mean, this might not be very stressful, but I guess it requires a lot of time. It can be a bit tedious sometimes.
Yep, that's true. Maybe I will need at some point. So normally in Belgium, some of the program has a 1 year program and some of the other has a 2 year program. For me, in my case, I have 2 years program. And then, but I have a friend that he did the master for 1 year program. But what you need to do is just like you need to start everything since the beginning. So you need to like having a plan for your master's thesis since you enter the program, and then you should know what should you do, and then everything it's already set. Your workload is based on how long you will study. But then yeah, the difficult part is the exam. You really need to pass the exam. If you have for example 1 year program, then you really need to pass all of the exam, otherwise you need to add more time to graduate, because for 2 years program, if I don't pass some of the course in my first year, then I can do it in the second year, and then I have more chance. But if you only have 1 year program, then yeah, you really need to put some effort for the exam. And also like for the practical work, maybe they have less requirement for the internship, so you need to be like proactive to look for your own internship. Even they don't require it as mandatory, you can just like yeah, you have a chance to do the internship, but you just do it by your own self.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
it might be my last question. Can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, After finishing my study, that I am compelled to come back to Indonesia for at least 3 years. And if I wanted to work professionally in Belgium, how Belgium government see or receive me as a student graduated from Belgium? Thank you. I mean, is there any job opportunities that might open for me after my year of contribution in Indonesia ended, please?
But of course, I mean, if you have a Belgian degree, that will be easier for you to enter the Belgian market than having a foreign degree. Especially if you make a master degree in 2 years, usually you have a diploma work to achieve. And most of the time, what people are doing, they are applying to a company, and the company is using the internship to train the future employee. So it's a way to put one foot in the door and then to enter a company. So of course, with the Belgian degree, it's possible. And I mean, you are like a regular student, but the issue would be the visa, and then probably I will let Anne completing. But as far as I know, when you come as a student, you get a student visa, and when you end up your studies, your visa can have a kind of a renewal of your visa during 1 year to help you finding a job. And if you don't find a job within 1 year, then you are in trouble, and makes things can become a bit difficult. So I would say the problem will not be to find a job, but to find a job in time.
Yeah, well noted.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the question and thank you for the answers from our speakers. As we are almost running out of time for the question and answer, maybe the last two questions will be from the chat box, and then we will uh, close the question and answer session. I will read the question from the chat box from Junior. So I'm a medical doctor currently practicing in Indonesia. Is our medical degree equivalent to the master degree in Belgium so that we can directly apply for a PhD program? And maybe I will also read the second question. Hi, I would like to, sorry.
So if you want to be sure, and you want to check whether your degree is accepted in Belgium or in any Belgium educational institutions, I don't know, but it's a case to case. And usually the university will be asking for a certification of your degree. And then I guess it's something that has to be it's something that has to do between the two universities. I don't think there are, but correct me if I'm wrong, Ronildo or anyone else, but I don't think there are no, let's say, global rules saying that any doctors in Indonesia can practice in or can make research in Belgium. I think it's a case to case depending on the institution you are coming from and the institution you would like to do your doctoral degrees, your doctoral studies.
Yes, but just in the case of medical doctors, I know it's very strict, and they will probably not allow you directly to the PhD program. But this is all over the world somehow in the medical sector. So I would say you get in touch with if you are looking at PhD opportunities, you get in touch with them, because once you are a PhD researcher, you will be also performing certain things in the hospital or have access to, patients and research data. So in that sense, you, I think, will be asked to comply with the Belgian, standards for medical doctors.
Yeah, I hope that it answers the question. So this is gonna be the last question. Hi, I would like to have some information on the health cost in Belgium, especially for international students or someone holding a visa. Is there any health insurance to be concerned about?
Yes, of course, the health insurance is compulsory, not for the visa application, but once you arrive, you should choose one of the agencies. It's not expensive. I don't know exactly the price now, but I think it's something like 30 euros or a month or less.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you come
Yes.
for more than 1 year, you will have a visa upon arrival. You got through your application in Indonesia, but then you will have to renew your your permit, and then at the renewal you will have to prove solvency again, and also you will have to prove medical insurance. So don't wait too long. Make sure you have the medical insurance in order, also to have insurance, of course, just in case something happened, but also to renew your residence permit for the second year.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Renilde, for your answer. And everyone, I think we will stop there for the question and answer session as we are running out of time. And yeah, we are now reaching the end of our webinar. I would like to thank all our speakers for the time and valuable insights, and to all of you for joining us and engaging with us today, and also for your enthusiasm asking questions regarding studying in Belgium. And we hope this session has given you a clearer understanding of what studying in Belgium can offer. Should you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to the Embassy of Belgium in Jakarta or any of the organizations our speakers represent this afternoon. Once again, thank you everyone, and we wish you all the best on your academic journey. Have a great day, everyone. And yeah, one more thing, sorry for all the participants, please also don't forget to fill out our attendance form via the link in the chat box. Thank you
And
and had
yeah, just to say one thing that perhaps we didn't answer all the questions. So if you are in Jakarta, feel free to pass by the EHEF, and then we can discuss further the matters. Sorry if we didn't answer all the questions.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, all the participants, we will also have the European Higher Education Fair this end of October and also early November. You can check on our Facebook page for more details information. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.